Welcome, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Mireya Sanchez. I am a co-director here at Chelan-Douglas County Volunteer Attorney Services in Wenatchee, and I will be conducting today's interview for Douglas County Clerk. With me today is the incumbent, Jenn Biggar. We're glad to have you here. So this interview is being recorded and it will be made available to the public. The questions that you'll be asked today are drawn from experiences of community members, clients, and some of the legal community, just in their interactions with the clerk's office. So they reflect real needs and curiosity from people that our office serves and the legal offices in this valley serve. So we've got about 5 or 6 questions, like I said, and we ask that you keep your responses to about 2 to 3 minutes, and Eloise will let us know if it goes long. So to get us started, please just go ahead and introduce yourself to our viewers. Maybe some of them aren't familiar. Go ahead and share a little bit about your time in office and maybe what's motivated you to run for reelection.
Okay. My name's Jenn Biggar. I'm the current Douglas County Clerk, and I have been since 2021 when I was appointed. I ran for reelection in 2022. A little bit about myself. I'm married and have 3 kids. We raise our family in Waterville, and we're heavily involved in youth sports, AAU basketball, Waterville swim team. We do pigs at the fair in Waterville, so we're very busy. I started my career in the legal field almost 13 years ago. I started in Chelan County District Court as a deputy clerk, and then I moved to the City of Wenatchee Prosecutor's Office. So that was held by the Johnson Gawk-Roger at the time. And I worked as a legal assistant there. And then finally, when we had a family, I decided to work closer to home. And so I started at the Douglas County Prosecutor's Office. And I worked for Steve Clem. That name might sound familiar to you guys. And I was there when I was appointed as clerk in 2021. What motivates me for this job? I love the court system. I love the legal field. I love RCWs and court rules and applying them to the work we do. I love taking that knowledge and making it easier for court users. We all hear that the court process is confusing and it's complex and super hard to navigate. And so having that background and being able to apply it to serve other people is very rewarding for me.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Mhm.
Let's go ahead and get started with the questions.
Okay.
So the first one, we work in legal aid. So in the legal aid community, there's frequent discussion regarding access to justice. And it's something that we're always working towards increasing. We
Yep.
kind of see the clerk's office as a natural partner in that effort because it's often the starting point for people who have legal matters. So tell us, what role do you see the clerk and the clerk's office playing in helping to ensure access to justice for residents of Douglas County?
That's okay. Yeah, I think we play a huge role in it. I think we're kind of like the front line for the court. And so we are the people that interact with the public the most and are trying to help people navigate their filings, where to find resources, how to get their case in front of a judge, whether that's setting hearing or ex parte process. So really navigating the access to justice. We have, in my time in office, we've done, in my opinion, quite a few things to improve that. And I can give you a couple of them. We have made our court calendars available online with Zoom links. Sometimes when people are attending their court hearings, it's stressful, and having those available online in the same place from court hearing to court hearing has been beneficial. We've heard positive feedback on that. A couple other things that we've done is really nail down our ADA request process. So that's something that's really big right now over in like the bigger counties of King County and Snohomish County. They're seeing a lot of ADA requests. So we have solidified that process just in case we are to come across that in Douglas County. It's not something that we see often now, but trying to get ahead of that and make that possible for people.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Mhm.
So moving on to question 2, again, in our legal community, we find that those with the greatest need, especially folks who are experiencing a lower income or financial hardship, they can really struggle with meeting those filing requirements, especially fee payments.
Mhm.
So that plays into also sometimes people struggling with access to technology that's meant to simplify the process. So,
Mhm.
with those things in mind, what is one thing that your community has been able to count on you for in this area, and what do you want to prioritize going forward?
Yeah, I think our new electronic filing system has really benefited not only attorneys and offices like the Attorney General, but also pro se litigants. It gives them a way to electronically file and not have to drive to Waterville. And I'm sure everybody's seen the gas prices, right? Like it's super expensive to drive all the way up to Waterville just to file your documents. So we're pretty proud of that system. We do have our staff that I'll call experts in the field. So if anybody has trouble navigating that, I feel they're very responsive and able to walk through the process. We even have them create their own accounts so that we can see what the person on the other side of the computer is seeing to really be able to explain that. And we've seen great success with that, and we're really proud of that program.
Okay, thank you. So now we're going to move on to a question about how the clerk's office works with the court side of things.
Mhm.
So many community members don't realize that the clerk's office and the judge's chambers are overseen by two different branches of government.
Right.
So can you explain in simple terms what this means and what are some of the benefits and challenges that you've seen firsthand in serving the public across those two separate systems?
Yeah, I think that is confusing for people who don't maybe deal with it every day, and we do run into that quite a bit. So there is the judicial branch, which is the court, and then we're the executive branch. So it's two separate branches of government, and really to create balances right in the system, and so that we can uphold the integrity of the record. Where we see it a lot is somebody submits an order ex parte. We are the ones that take that in and we send it off to the court for review. Sometimes if somebody wants to know the status of it, right? Like, has the judge reviewed it? Why did the judge deny it? Why didn't it, for whatever reason? Sometimes the frustration can be with our office because we are the front line. We're the ones answering the phone. We are the ones that process the document, but we really have no control over when it gets reviewed or what the court's decision is. So really just explaining to people that we are two separate offices, and we do communicate regularly with the court, like, hey, so-and-so called in to check on their document. Can you provide an update for us? But in the end, we are two separate offices.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for that
Yeah.
explanation. On that note, you mentioned self-represented litigants. So here at CDCVAS, all of our clients are self-represented with very few exceptions. So these clients, they often rely on resources that we provide them or
Mhm.
referrals that we make sometimes to county offices to get assistance with filing or knowing the documentation requirements. So what are some approaches that you have brought to the clerk's office or that you want to continue to bring to offer that support to those self-represented clients, and especially when they're filing with a fee waiver, which we know can be very confusing?
Yeah, one of the mottos in our office, kind of what we try to go by, is don't let people leave empty handed. So, a big frustration with our office that we hear is we can't provide legal advice. Um, so, even if somebody is asking you legal advice and what they need is legal advice, don't let them feel like they haven't been heard and haven't been helped, if that makes sense. So, provide them with a resource, whether that is VAS or it's Sage or it's, King County has a wonderful website for a ton of resources. And there's also Washington Law Help, or you can point them to the Court Forms website. So, really, just providing the resources to people without crossing the bounds of providing legal advice.
Right. Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
We are to our last question of the interview. So we've talked a lot about access to justice during this conversation. It's been included in most of our questions. So tell us, with everything that you've shared today in mind, what does access to justice mean to you?
I think access to justice is really just breaking down the barriers that people face. And whether that is providing the resources to them, helping explain the process to them of how the court system works, or really just helping them navigate the court system as much as we legally can, with it staying in the statutory requirements of our job. And really just breaking down the barriers for them.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you so much. That
Yeah.
concludes our interview questions.
Okay.
So thank you to Jenn
Yeah.
Biggar for your time and your thoughtful responses today. We really appreciate your participation in the process.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.